Hey everyone, I'm the Rev. I think the daily race system on Le Mans Ultimate is absolutely fantastic. However, I've spent most of my time in the beginner section. Well, for this video, I want to jump into an intermediate race. I'm going to concentrate on this one, the WEC Experience Fixed at Fuji Speedway Classic. So I'm going to be in the Hypercars. Now, if like me, you find jumping into the intermediate races a little bit daunting, then hopefully I'm going to give you some tips that might make it easier for you. So let's get on with it. Now this first tip, this is before you even get on the track. For the default setups in the Hypercars, head into the wheels and brakes and stick that max pedal force back on 100%. The braking in the Hypercars is something that you have to get used to, but trust me, I did a full video on it. I'll leave the link in the video description. It's something that you're going to want to get your head around, as that way you'll be able to stop as effectively as possible. The second thing is for the onboard TC slip angle. I'd turn this down a little bit, but it's always going to be personal preference. However, I felt that on the default setups, it was a little bit overly aggressive. Let's get on the track. Tip number 2 would to have the MFD set on the tyres at the start of the race. As you can see, the tyres are nowhere near up to full temperature, and you're going to have to bear that in mind on lap 1, which I don't do very often and I'm prone to spinning. So don't be a muppet like me. But any moment now, the lights are going to go green. There we go. It's our first proper intermediate race in a Hypercar at Fuji. The yellow Ferrari, he's got a terrible start. We've got past him, but I've got an issue now because I've got another car to my right-hand side. Are we going to make it through turn 1? I'm early on the brakes. Careful not to lock up. We've got cars running wide. Mindful now of cars to my left and right. And we managed not to make contact with anyone. Great stuff. The red Ferrari, he got quite close to us. I was a little late on the brakes there. Luckily the Toyota saw me in time. I get a little tap from the left hand side from the red Ferrari, but we're safely through. Bit of contact, no damage, we'll take that. I don't want to dive up the inside of the Toyota, that could have been bad. And luckily I don't get dive bombed either, so all I needed to do now was settle down. First ever start in an intermediate race. I don't think we could argue with that one. It wasn't too bad. Unfortunately, things don't really go to plan from there. But hopefully, by watching this video, by me doing this race, we'll all gain experience and you'll not make the same mistakes I do. Whoops-a-daisy, see you later Ferrari, he's facing the wrong direction. Never mind, pal. I'm about to do something stupid myself, just catch it. Oh my word. So you think I'd learn, but I've gone wide. I've invited the Ferrari onto me. He's going to go around the outside, there's a bit of contact, and I'm facing the wrong direction. What a muppet, Reverend. What a muppet. Totally my fault. Let's have a quick look at the replay of that incident. We're on board now with Torres. He's behind me. You can just see me there, get on the curb in the yellow Ferrari. He goes round the outside. It's his corner every day of the week, and I deserve exactly what I get. However, only on editing the video have I realised that I actually screwed the two BMWs over as well. I am so sorry about that. I had no idea I'd done that. But we rejoin the action now after thankfully I did a safe rejoin. I waited for everyone to go past and only did I rejoin the track when it was safe to do so. However, tip number 3 has to be don't be the Reverend. You can't win the race on the first lap. It's 40 minutes long, you muppet. We're going to skip ahead now to lap 3. This race was not over. I had minimal damage to the front splitter, but other than that, the car was in good shape. I'm not a quitter, that's not how we roll. At the worst case scenario, as long as I kept things nice and clean, I should be able to up my safety rating. So that was what I wanted to do from here on in. No more contact with any cars, try and keep the laps nice and clean. Can we get past this Toyota now? We certainly can do. He's had a little excursion off to the left, don't really know what that was about, but that's another place gain. So we're up to 15th anyway. We started in 10th position and I felt like I might be able to do something about the cars ahead if I just got my head down and got on with it. So skipping forward now to lap 7, that's exactly what I did. I got my head down, I started pumping the laps in, and since the spin I'd managed to calm my nerves and I was treating it a little bit more like a practice session. I figured that everything I could learn from this race would be valuable experience. Learning about the car, learning about the strategy, and even gaining experience from that mistake that I made on lap 1. You'll always learn more from your failures than you will your successes. Oh, just ahead there's a bit of contact between the BMW and the Ferrari. No idea who was at fault for that one. I have a little shake in my head as I thought to myself, oh no, this is not going to be pleasant now, trying to overtake these lads. However, little did I know that any second now, there was going to be more contact between the two Ferraris, one spins, cat-like reactions from a 40-odd-year-old man. Somehow I managed not to be collected in their accident. I couldn't believe it. Another shake of the head from the Rev. But somehow I was up to 13th. 3 more cars and I'd be back where I started. Could I go round the outside of this Ferrari? We've got a Mustang here with no wing. I decided it wasn't best to do that. I try and cut it back, get on the power early, and it's going to be a drag race between the two Ferraris down the straight. We've got another GT3 up ahead. He's peeling off into the pits, so thankfully he's not going to get involved in this little battle. As we headed now down the straight, his Ferrari seemed to have the legs on mine. He just started to pull away, but I was confident with that 100% brake force, I should be able to get it stopped. I was very lucky though, only just managed it, ran deep, and he's now up the inside. He's got the place back. Great bit of driving. Garcia, mate, I take me hat off to you. I've just realised this lad's Garcia and the other lad was Torres. It's like we're having one of the classic Liverpool player races. Love it. Skipping ahead now to a little bit further forward in lap 8. I'm still with Garcia, 0.4's the gap, but we're coming up to some GT3 cars, so there's some lapping to do. The BMW Hypercar, he's got past the GT3, as has the Ferrari, and we managed to do the same. I think the BMW Hypercar, he got held up worse than we did, because this Ferrari's right on top of him. Garcia's going to go up the inside of him, which he manages to do. I've now got Sir, he's ahead of me. I'm going to tuck into his slipstream, and it's going to be Ferrari versus BMW down the straight. Come on, you little prancing horse, do us proud. It looked like the BMW and the Ferrari were pretty evenly matched, but there was more traffic there. I was quite confident though that I could get it stopped. Late on the brakes. This time, got the apex, not like the last time. On the power nice and early, and we've got the job done. We're up to 11th place. There is now, however, more GT3s to lap. Try and go round the left-hand side, not get too much in his way. Now, if you're like me and you're coming from Formula 1, you'll be used to the fact that lap cars should get out your road. Apparently, they should just jump out your way. Now, I'm new to WEC, to IMSA. I've not followed this type of racing. I'm very, very new to it. So it's up to you as the faster car to safely find your way past the GT3s. They're just going to run their race. They're going to use their line. You should find your way safely past them. And luckily, so far in this race, that's exactly what we've managed to do. Going to go around the outside of the BMW. The Aston Martin, he might have not seen me there. Don't think I should have been going around the outside, but luckily managed to get it done without causing any issues. Garcia now, he's pulled that gap to around about 1 second. But at the moment, we're running in 11th. It could have been much, much worse. Skipping ahead now to lap 13, and I'm up to 10th due to somebody entering the pits. I'd kept the gap to Garcia to around about a second, so I was certainly putting the pressure on, and at some point that pressure might tell. And what would you know, as we enter the left-hander, he loses the rear, and that's the end of Garcia. Off he pops. See you later, pal. Thank you very kindly. And we're up to 9th place. Let's have a quick look what happened to Garcia. As you can see, as he's entered the slow left-hander, he's just lost the rear of the car. At this moment in time now, he's just a passenger. There's nothing you can do. Tyres are getting ruined, leaving those big tread marks behind. And just there in the top of the screen, I dart under in the little yellow Ferrari. Skipping our race ahead now to the end of lap 16, and tip number 4, learn the MFD. This is going to make your life so much easier. If you know what's on every page and how to update it, how to change those values, then that's going to make your life much easier. If you're garbage at multitasking like me, then you're going to need all the help you can get, especially in these pit stop races. And straight on to tip number 5, learn the pit entry. Learn how much speed you can carry into the pit entry, as you're going to save lots of time as you enter the pits if you do this. Don't make the first time you enter the pits be the first time you've done it. Actually have a little bit of practice. As you can see there, I've had to make 2 small adjustments, which has obviously cost me time, so it's not ideal. Definitely learn how to go into the pits and into your pit box. Skipping ahead now to lap 17, we've exited the pits, and now it's time for another tip. Know your strategy. It's at this point in time I looked up at the corner and I thought, why have I only got 66% fuel, whereas everybody else had 70, 72, 95, 74. I thought, I've made a mess here, I've made some kind of cock up. And lo and behold, yes, I had indeed cocked it right up. I had short fueled my car, so I was going to have to do some fuel saving as we came towards the end of this race. So my tip would always be put more fuel in than you need. For some reason I keep putting it absolutely tight, either bang on or too little, so I need to start to learn to put more fuel in than I need. That second or two I may lose in the pits, trust me, I'm going to lose a damn sight more than that when I'm tiptoeing round for the last 2 laps, cacking me pants about actually making the end. So that was the tip, put more fuel in than you need. As we rejoin the end of the race now, on the final lap, I'm absolutely tiptoeing round on lap 28 of 28. As you can see ahead there though, Gregory in the Toyota, I think there's potential I could have caught him. He's got less fuel than me, and if I'd just put that little bit more in at the pit stop, he's having to fuel save massively, and I think if I'd have been able to push, I probably could have caught him, and that would have been 8th. But I'll take 9th every day of the week after the stupid error on that one. It's my first real go at the hypercar races. I know that it's daunting because it was daunting for me, but it was well worth a try. So if you take nothing else from this video other than if I can do it, you can do it. So definitely give it a try, otherwise you're missing out. As you can see from my face, as I crossed the line, I had certainly really enjoyed it. It was messy and it was filled with mistakes, but we all make mistakes and hopefully we learn from them. But we managed to get the safety rating into gold, which I was very happy with. And as I say, I'd certainly learnt a lot from this race to take into the next ones. As always, I've been the Reverend. Thank you very much for watching.